Personal liberty laws. In U.S. history, pre-Civil War laws passed by northern state governments to counteract the provisions of the Fugitive Slave Acts and to protect escaped slaves and free blacks settled in the North. Contravening the Fugitive Slave Act of 1793, which did not provide for trial by jury, Indiana 1824, and Connecticut 1828 enacted laws making jury trials for escaped slaves possible upon appeal. In 1840 Vermont and New York granted fugitives the right of jury trial and provided them with attorneys. After 1842, when the U.S. the Supreme Court ruled that enforcement of the Fugitive Slave Act was a federal function, some northern state governments passed laws forbidding state authorities to cooperate in the capture and return of fugitives. In the reaction to the Fugitive Slave Act contained in the Compromise of 1850, most northern states provided further guarantees of jury trial, authorized severe punishment for illegal seizure and perjury against alleged fugitives, and forbade state authorities to recognize claims to fugitives. These laws were among the many assaults on states' rights cited as a justification for secession by South Carolina in 1860. Underground Railroad. In the United States, a system existing in the northern states before the Civil War by which escaped slaves from the South were secretly helped by sympathetic Northerners, in defiance of the Fugitive Slave Acts, to reach places of safety in the North or in Canada. Though neither underground nor a railroad, it was thus named because its activities had to be carried out in secret, using darkness or disguise, and because railway terms were used in reference to the conduct of the system. Various routes were lines. Stopping places were called stations, those who aided along the way were conductors, and their charges were known as packages or freight. The network of routes extended in all directions throughout 14 northern states and the Promised Land of Canada, which was beyond the reach of fugitive slave hunters. Those who most actively assisted slaves to escape by way of the railroad were members of the free black community, including such former slaves as Harriet Tubman, Northern abolitionists, philanthropists, and such church leaders as Quaker Thomas Garrett. Harriet Beecher Stowe, famous for her novel Uncle Tom's Cabin, gained first-hand knowledge of fugitive slaves through her contact with the Underground Railroad in Cincinnati, Ohio. Estimates of the number of black people who reached freedom vary greatly, from 40,000 to 100,000. Although only a small minority of Northerners participated in the Underground Railroad, its existence did much to arouse Northern sympathy for the lot of the slave in the antebellum period, at the same time convincing many Southerners that the North as a whole would never peaceably allow the institution of slavery to remain unchallenged.